take a look at what we got here. What do we got here? Okay, Sinistralix, I guess Alex. Why did you choose a tone to be the first song on the record? Okay, that's a good question. When you make a record, you have a body of work, and generally it's pretty easy to, out of everything that you have, to figure out where you want to start and where you want to end. Hey, Ted. And so tone was always it was always a strong contender. My partner on the record, Tyler Bates and Paul Figueroa, both felt pretty strongly about that song as an opener as well. And so, you know, when it came to like track listing, I was kind of bouncing back and forth, and it just felt right. It's got an attitude that kind of sets the tone for the whole body of work, and it's an interesting song. You know, I think it was one of the first tunes that I showed Tyler when we were kind of gathering material, and when I played that riff, he was like, "Man, that's cool." And I'm like, "Man, I've been carrying this riff around for years. I haven't figured out a way to make it into a complete song that's as good as the riff, you know, and the chorus idea that I had." So the other thing that he thought was really interesting was the fact that it's in an open tuning, which is normally a major tuning and used for kind of blues slide type stuff, but it's pretty minor sounding. So it's in that tuning, but the chord picking has kind of got a minor feel to it. So anyway, that's the story of how it became the first song on the record and the first song out. Let's see, who else we got here? We got McCammon Russell. Russell is his name, I guess. What came first, the lyrics or the riff? The eternal question. Very 97% of the time, it's always the riff, and this was the case with this song too. You know, it's you'll stumble across things as you're playing that you know, as you're just messing around or warming up or just having fun, you know, jamming with people or yourself. I find I get a lot of riffs. I get a lot of riffs off of guitars I've never played before. It's really weird. I don't know what the chemistry is on that, but like if I pick up a guitar I've never played before, maybe it's just because you're interested in it and it's a little different than than anything you've played. It's got its own personality, and mixed with the oars, you kind of come up with something. So with the tone, it was riff first. Rarely is it the other way. Every once in a while, I will have a vocal idea or a melody line first before I start a song, but they're pretty rare. Let's see what we got here. Twilight McCoy. Okay, the tone has a groovy twang throughout. Can we expect more of this vibe on the album Brighton? Well, it's a unique song, so there's no other songs that sound like that on the record. There is a song that it's called Siren Song, actually, and two completely different songs, but for some reason they feel like they're second cousins to me. They're a little bit related, even though they're completely different. But all of the songs on the record, they work as a body of work. They're all individual tunes that kind of stand on their own, but it's the kind of cool thing about making a record. You know, you try all these ideas and you get everything to the finish line and make it the best that you can be, and then you line them all up, and then ideas that you thought were really great at the start maybe are not so good compared to the other things that have sprung up, or vice versa, things that maybe you didn't think were that great, you're like, man, that turned into something, you know. And the shape of the record kind of you know, it kind of forms itself a little bit if you just kind of listen to the music and what you have in my experience. But it's a unique tune, but might be a little bit kind of connected in a slight distant relative way with one other tune on the record. Let's see here. Christopher BL01. Who are your country music, southern rock influences? Okay, that's a good question. Both of my parents are huge country music fans. My mom, she listened to all sorts of stuff. She was into like, Oak Ridge Boys and like Charlie Daniels and Tammy Wynette and Barbara Mandrell and all sorts of stuff. My dad, he listened to kind of rougher stuff like Merle Haggard and Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Ernest Tubb. I always liked all of that stuff. Tanya Tucker and Glenn Campbell. Always loved Patsy Cline. Big Patsy Cline fan. And yeah, pretty much all the classic greats. Yeah, thanks. And I think this one's for you. Paws of Love wants to know what it was like shooting in all of the different locations for the video, and how did each one add to the spirit of the song. Okay, that was a really trippy experience. I'd never shot that much for a video, and we had a really cool crew of guys. Greg Pichotto, who sang vocals with me, did all of the backups and on this record. His friend Jesse Draxler, who's an amazing artist as well, they turned me on to Jim Laveau and Tony Aguilera, and we all kind of got together and we kind of planned out. I kind of told the guys what I was kind of feeling, and I was kind of feeling that the song kind of evoked imagery of kind of loner in the desert kind of vibe, man with no name kind of deal. And so we kind of figured it out and planned it out. And between the five of us, we figured out we wanted to hit a bunch of different locations. So Joshua Tree was one. So the Salton Sea was another. And then we drove. Actually, we shot at Joshua Tree the very first day in the national park, and then we wrapped that night, and we were trying to make the Salton Sea, but we missed the light because we missed the sunset, and we were trying to catch that sunset kind of hour or two, but we missed it. So we figured we'd have to probably do it later on. Later on in the week. So we shot at Joshua Tree, got in a car with me and Greg and Jesse, and we drove straight to Phoenix that night, checked into the hotel, shot the next day in Phoenix, spent the night, came back, and then a couple of days later, we did the live stuff in a studio, I think in Culver City or something like that in Los Angeles, and all the guys showed up, and kind of we set up that live setup. And then we went back to the Salton Sea to close it out, to get a different vibe. And it was really cool doing that much work, and it was also really, really cool having the different looks of all of those different places, And I think it's a really rich video. It's really simple, but the four other guys that I planned this out with were really talented people, and we busted ass, and we got it done, and they did a great job. Yep. Let's see here. A lot of questions about the hat. I don't know if that's a person or a question, but that is kind of an interesting question. When we were in Joshua Tree. It was hot as hell, obviously, but it was super windy too. And the way that Jim wanted to shoot with rock formations in the background always put me with a stiff wind at my back. And I'm wearing that hat that I wear, and I thought that sort of a look kind of went with what I was trying to kind of blend into the environment, I guess. And So my hat kept blowing off like the whole day, like, you know, and one of those is in the video where it kind of blows off and I catch it in my hand, which was just complete happenstance. And then the main one, which was trippy, and I can't believe that they caught this because, hold on here, Dealey, I gotta move my leg, otherwise the blood's gonna. Anyway, I'm walking down the road and we're doing a drone shot. They got some drones so we can get some, you know, majestic rock shots. And anyway, the hat blows off my head and it hits the dirt. And in the video, you can kind of see me reach for it, and it just starts rolling. You know, so I'm just like, fuck it, I'm not gonna catch it. So, and it just takes off. And that hat must have rolled, I don't know, it must have rolled maybe like a quarter mile, I'm not kidding you, and it just was in the middle of the road and just kept going on its side, and the whole time the guys are way around the bend, and I'm screaming, shoot the hat, shoot the hat, all the while I'm trying to, you know, remain kind of calm because they're shooting me from behind, but I'm trying to make sure that they realize that the hat is on the ground, and it's amazingly rolling down the middle of the road, and it's just going and going, so they got the shot, and the funny thing about that is I thought it was so cool, and we were kind of stoked that we got something that just kind of happened naturally that was that magical. It reminded me of the movie Miller's Crossing. I'm a huge Coen Brothers fan, and so the hat blowing off through the trees, I thought that was kind of a cool little sign. But anyway, what the hell was I saying? I tried to do it again. That's what it was. That's what I was trying to say. I tried to actually do it again. So just to see if we could get that shot, so we could get a safety shot or whatever, and I couldn't get it to do it. I would kind of put the hat down and it would roll and just kind of fall over. So there was just a active nature there, the universe working with us instead of against us. So I think that's about it. My good friend Baldy is behind the phone here, and is there any other questions? As I can see, you got one.
Well, they roll by so fast, it's hard to get the names, but someone wanted to know if you like hot dogs.
If I like hot dogs?
Yeah, I thought that was good.
Yeah, I don't mind a hot dog. I'm more of a burger guy. I'm a big fan of a good cheeseburger. You felt that was necessary to...
That one stood out. A lot of people are asking about the touring, if there's any kind of tour plan.
Touring, yeah. Well, that's a good question. I intended this record to be done and released probably, I don't know, last September, but we're, you know, all dealing with the same situation with the COVID situation. So out of an abundance of caution, I kind of figured we'd give it some time, and nothing would make me happier than to be out on the road and playing some of this stuff for you guys. But we're looking at dates starting early next year. So I'm gonna try to make some videos and do some cool things with you guys. Keep connected with you, and until we get to see you in person. And plan on taking it around the world. And I once again, I just want to thank everybody for their support. I hope you're digging it. I'm pretty proud of it, and I'm glad that it's out in the world. Take care.